Hello, can you guys hear me? I'm just gonna quickly unmute. I'm just gonna give a few minutes. I'm gonna give a soft introduction about Seletti A.i. This is recording, so if you have missed this, you'll be able to obviously listen to this as well. So yeah, thank you very much for everyone for being here, and this will be a great time to know more about Lenny, the man himself, the CEO behind Seletti, leading the vision. But yeah, before we get to speak more about Lenny, get to know about him, what he thinks about Seletti and the vision, I'm just gonna give a brief introduction. You guys see me make a few videos on Seletti. I really like Seletti. Actually, I think it's standing out from the different DeFi projects, setting an example for the standards of DeFi. But ladies and gentlemen, what is Seletti A.i? I'm just going to read this from the white paper. So obviously I'm going to be posting all the links in the chat where you can see this. But Seletti A.i represents a groundbreaking approach to democratizing investment access to markets by bridging blockchain technology and real world assets together. Seletti A.i is poised to reshape the portfolio management landscape, making it inclusive and efficient. So pretty interesting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I've made videos on this where it's basically you have investment routes that you can enter, where you can have you can start making 0.5% daily, 2.7% daily, and the hottest thing right now is the PAMM Forex trading investment portfolio that I've jumped into, and it's basically using their proprietary technology, running very in-depth algorithms that invest in Forex automatically. So you can effectively make money while you sleep, which is a pretty interesting thing. Crypto makes things possible, and we're going to talk more about that. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy this time. It's going to be like, this is actually a first of on this channel. I haven't really done an AMA before, so hopefully 2 more of this to come in the future. And yeah, so we're going to head it off to the man himself, Lenny. I hope you introduce yourself, tell us about how you crossed paths with Seletti and your crypto journey.
Hey, can you hear me?
Absolutely, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me well as well?
Yes, I can. DJ Khaled, thank you so much for having me on. Very excited. Really appreciate you bringing me on to your community, as well as I've seen how you go through in depth about the website and our offering. So I appreciate that you get it and you're understanding and you're seeing how it flows, which is wonderful for your community members, as well as for all of us in crypto. And so what I could do is go through. I guess you want to know a little bit about me, and I won't go too much into my personal background and story, but what I will say is that for the past 2.5 years or so, I have been involved in crypto, and I've made crypto my lifestyle in the fact that, crypto as a service will be, it's the new digital currency. It's here to stay. It has been around for a while. And what I see and I've envisioned, obviously, is you have digital currencies that will be coming out by different countries, but you have the main purpose of decentralized, anonymous, peer-to-peer transactions, of which what Bitcoin was designed for, and the altcoins and the whole entire community. So I have done various aspects of crypto, from yield farming to staking to investing into other projects to collaborating with others on how to make this space better, right? And how to eliminate a lot of the lack of integrity and nefarious activities. There's only so much that we can do, but that's why I got involved in this at this level, is because I wanted to team up with people who are of the same mindset, that want to do things and do right by the community, because the community, crypto writ large, is growing by leaps and bounds. A lot more adoption mechanisms coming into play. So you're going to hear a lot more people talking about and wanting to learn how to get involved. And I think that's that purpose, and not only crypto, but also investing in general and taking personal control of your finances, and the way that you invest and the way you conduct your own personal life with money is important. It's very important for us all to learn and do more for ourselves in the future. Not going to get on any anti-government kicks or anything like that. I just want to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
that, but the whole thing about what we're doing with the Seletti team is to bring that and bring it one form of it in the way that we have done it so far. When it comes to knowing and learning about the team, two of the team members that are part of this, I've known for over 3 years. So yeah, one of them is a close personal friend of mine, and so when I heard about this opportunity through him, we started having conversations about, hey, what are they looking to do? What's the purpose? And then I met with the owners, and we hit it off since day one. We're having a lot of fun. Uh, you know, uh, been now a little over a month, and we meet daily, and we have our calls where we go through things, we cuss and discuss, and not really cussing much at all because we're enjoying. We have a lot of fun with our conversations. I'm a little bit older, and so they tease me about that from time to time, but I get to tease them back because they don't get some of my '80s references. So, but but all in all, I would say the team. We've got over 25 developers in various aspects. You've seen how
Mhm.
the website was built. You've seen how the integrations have been conducted and the seamless manner in some areas of as we have the instant withdrawals, and some of the other aspects. The thing that I loved most about it was it has the track record of performance, and these people are, within Seletti, are putting their money where their mouth is. They are talking about, okay, as we're bringing this on, and as we're bringing on these new features and capabilities, run us through the ringer, ask the questions, because, like, as you alluded to at the beginning, I do have a systems engineering background. And so when it comes to being
Yeah.
a project manager, I've been a PMP, I was with IT infrastructure library. I've ran large IT organizations. I've worked with a lot of different software and systems engineers on various activities, and so I know process. I know I was a scrum master, so I've ran, minimum viable product every 2 weeks. The scrum cycles. I've done that
Mhm.
for very very large organizations, and so when I came to them with that rigor and that type of questioning, it was good to see that they're highly responsive. They
Yeah.
are very user experience and customer focused, and that's been really one of the most important things. They've also showed me, to the furthest extent that they can, how everything works in the background. And so that was most important for me. And so that, I've gotten briefings and demos on that. I will
Yeah.
have something that will come out on that, specifically, maybe in like a 30 or 60-second video, but that's a little further down the road. We're mostly focusing right now is, when I first came on, I said, okay, you're looking to launch. Let's have a discussion on it, because as CEO, they contracted me out to ask the hard questions, to go through things. I said, I want to learn this first. I want to see that the operational testing and evaluation has been done. I want to make sure that all the moving parts are working together. And then also, I asked a lot of questions as to why this is a certain way, why that is a certain way, and so that I can wrap my head around it and be able to articulate it to the community. And from that, that's the beauty of being in a collaborative environment. Is, yes, we had these plans before, and as we were doing pre-launch, and this is how we had things set up. And I'm like, well, why do we need this one? Why do we need that one if we're doing this within PAM and within Forex? And the question was, well, we don't. It's like, okay, well then we get rid of them. It's like, why have that as a mechanism? And and we built that transition plan, and we migrated people over pretty
Yeah.
seamlessly, actually. The other piece is we are, and as you know, we're highly connected with our community. We've got I'm going to pull it up real quick to not to brag about our community, but we're over 900 members, and a lot of people are very interactive, asking questions, pulsing what we're doing, why we're doing, and what else can we do. And some of that comes into the, well, some things there's the ability to do, but then we have to make sure with our roadmap that fits into our overall approach and where we're looking to go. I'm a little more, I don't want to say conservative in that mechanism, but I want to make sure we put things out right first time. And that if we have issues with what we're doing, I want to make sure everything is stabilized and maintenance mode runs first, that everything is running smoothly, that people are getting their consistent returns, that people are getting, if they're referring properly, that the referral links are working. If they are having issues with being able to interact through the wallet, that's why and that's actually one of the reasons why we have the exchange built in via API on our system. So to address those type of issues. And I think everything has gone, fantastically well in that regard. And so, I'm very pleased that we've done what we've done in such a short period of time, and we're getting that type of momentum. Whereas people understand, they see the track record of performance, they're
Yep.
able to ask more intelligent questions, but at that same time, we're also seeing new people come in that have not, been involved in crypto for a long time, which is highly encouraging, because it's okay. You're learning on a system and a platform, whereas we're welcoming and we're trying our best to bring them up to speed and learn, and be in a safe space, because security from our standpoint is number one. I think I've talked about it in the past a lot, about
Mhm.
how certain aspects are the way they are. I question them, like why don't we have our direct smart contract out there? And then all they needed to do was send me a few articles as to why, and then all you have to do is actually read up as to why the millions of dollars that are lost by people doing what they do in this world that we live in
Yeah.
online. And so I feel comfortable, like I said, have an enterprise architecture background, so being able to see and how the piece parts work and are integrated really is welcoming. Don't want to give away too much. That's one of those give and takes. Like the whole thing is, this is a crypto as a service capability within Forex. And
Yep.
so that's different than what other people are promising from the returns of investing into XYZ in crypto. And so that's why I steer all conversations to, this is the main aspect of how we're doing it through our PAM, and the bots working every day, Monday through Friday, 24/5, to get the type of returns that we're promising our communities.
Amazing. Yeah. Now, actually, speaking of the PAM Invest, which is the latest kind of launch, I really like the fact that you guys did the, trading reports. Like, I believe it was like what, more than a couple of weeks, so that you can see how much it's returning. And then you guys actually, launched it with a great, track record. I think that's a really great idea. And then the fact that you can also see what trades it executed, the trading pairs, and you can see how it made up that returns. So my leading question to this is, the PAM Invest, I think, is a successful launch. Can you tell me what is next in the roadmap for Seletti?
Okay, so what we do, and this goes back to my slow and steady wins the race approach. At this particular point, we just launched. The official launch was
Yeah.
just about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So some of the aspects of what we uh, weren't anticipating, we've included already, but we are looking to make some of the changes and recommendations that people are bringing. Actually, I want to open that up to your community as well through you. If they have questions, sling them over at Seletti A.i, or if you want to bring it up and send us a note and say, hey, this is the feedback I'm getting from my community members. Can you maybe possibly address this, and I could relay it, or tell us when the next event's going to be, so we can address it. But so from a roadmap standpoint, um, as you can see, we implemented aspects of the roadmap in advance. My
Yeah.
whole initial plan was, first we get it up and running. We're accepting USD BEP20. Making sure everybody connect with their wallets, making sure everybody can interact and get, it flows smoothly into Forex through our broker, and that main account, that it comes back through, people get paid, et cetera, et cetera. Right. That's
Hmm.
goal number one. And then we were talking about, well, we want to introduce other mechanisms for payment. And the first and foremost one was, okay, all forms of USDT and possibly USDC. So we want to, get the stable coin, come in with any different stable coin from different chains, so that you can use different wallets to interact, whether it be, I could list off, MetaMask, Trust
Hmm.
Wallet, Exodus, Phantom, etc. But what we did realize is that a lot of people were asking the questions sooner than later on how they can, how do you convert? How do you do this? And those type of questions regarding exchange related. It's like, well, why not just do it where we get that exchange up and running now? And so we talked about it. We talked to the developers. They were highly responsive, and so boom, that's where we got the Change Now API set up. Will we have our own exchange somewhere down the road? Strong possibility. We really understand that this is how people want to do things, and so this intermediate capability that we have with Change Now, we're going to do this for a while, make sure everything works very well, see what other feedback we get from our customers on working that, and then we'll see if we have that somewhere down the road. um, will that be a sister project in relation to main Seletti? Still to be determined, because we have to make sure, according to our roadmap, my number one thing is, first of all, we want to have a test environment. We want to go through all the rigors of making sure when it does go live, it's as advertised and it doesn't break anything. Right? People want to get
That's
paid,
right.
so we want to make sure everything goes well. So stable coins, some people have talked about, hey, I want to use Bitcoin, or hey, I want to use ETH. And my response is, hey, the guy who bought Bitcoin for $2 a share would love to be getting their Bitcoin now at $45 a share, right? But
Hmm.
he would hate it if he got it at $45 a share, and then he's getting the returns back at $20 a share, right? So
Yeah.
the fluctuations of the crypto play is not our business model at this particular point. Our business model is crypto as a service to work in Forex. Now, will that change somewhere down the road? Most likely. We want, and we've had extreme success with the AI bots on the Forex side of it. We are researching on the crypto side of it, but crypto comes with its own set of, I'm going to use the word idiosyncrasies, but it's more of the nuances of what that means. And it takes on a life of itself, as you may know. So that's part of some of the potential roadmap items that we look at. And I think that covers a good chunk of where we want to go. I don't like to talk too much about beyond 3 months because it
Mhm.
doesn't fit with our cycle and it doesn't fit with our model. I am going to be very happy to say 6 months, 9 months, 12 months from now, whereas you all can pull up a track record of performance that goes back over a year, you know,
Yeah.
of how the bot has performed. And oh, by the way, the bot obviously is designed as an AI bot to do better over time. Not that I can say it's going to crank out 10% a day uh, in returns, and I definitely am not saying that. But what I'm saying is that the performance and the average return rate of return should definitely improve over time. And I'd rather focus in on getting that right in the short term, in the 1 to 3 month time, and then add on those bells and whistles that come along with it. If that
Absolutely.
makes sense.
No, I think, yeah, it definitely makes sense, to be honest with you. And obviously you want to keep it to like 3 months where you want to let the track record speak for itself, and you also don't want to like over promise with the risk of under delivering. Yeah, that really makes sense. Actually, my next question, because I remember you did say this in the first AMA that I listened to. You said that you like to have the white paper to be a dynamic white paper. Can you tell me, what feedback, or what do you also mean by dynamic white paper actually?
So a perfect example of it being a dynamic white paper is if it means that we put different versions out on a regular basis as things change. So um, a perfect example would be we had 4 plans and we're going to do, and we're waiting on the final, release of the PAM. Well, within less than a week, the white paper no longer had information about 4 plans. It had information about the 5% plan, the 7% plan, and a lot more information about the PAM and what that meant and how that would work. Same thing with our calculator. Is we introduce the calculator so people can see what the returns would look like, based off of their investment. And we're actually going to be refining that over time as well. For PAM and with variable, you have to include different parameters, obviously, because you could be looking at, well, what if it's 8.8% per day, or if it's 3% per day, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a tool. I'd like to also have more information of expectations management in that section of the white paper, so that people can see, what they would be getting. That, like, the white paper is an elaboration of what you're doing real time, and
Mm-hmm.
where you're going. And so that's the same thing about the exchange. Is we're going to add more information about the exchange because there's a lot of questions about the exchange. We're adding links to tutorials in the white paper based off of feedback of the how-tos. I think I talked about that as well. And
Yeah.
so we will make those. We'll publish those updates. We're also, today, when I met with the team, and they probably beat me up for saying this, but they said, when somebody is welcomed in, we're going to include links to uh, different how-tos so that people can see exactly how they interact to number one, get involved with crypto, with the different wallets, how they interact with through their wallet to the contract, how they can use the exchange. So we'll have maybe 3 to 5 videos in that welcome message in the Telegram that's included down in there, so that people are comfortable. And then when they first walk in, they're seeing, okay, I can click on this. It's like get started in our project in crypto. Those type things are probably part of that. Obviously, the more longer reaching information, roadmap, and timeline related, I'm not a big timeline guy, meaning like I don't know what the world's going to look like a year from now, right?
Yeah.
And so and as we have this customer face user experience, I've learned that incremental changes over time are so much better than to say version X, 2.4.3 is coming out on this date. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Unless and it's just from experience that I've learned that, rollouts in that manner never go as advertised, and then you're always having to explain, as opposed to that's why with a dynamic roadmap and a dynamic white paper and the way that we interface with the community, I think that's a much better approach. So people are seeing what they're going to be doing, and they're actually part of the process, and nobody is saying, oh well, I heard that a year from now they're coming out with their own coin, and I'm going to tell you right now, no. Okay, but and I use that as an example because I say that as I don't know, and I don't think, I personally don't believe that that particular mechanism is the right mechanism for what we want to introduce in our roadmap, unless, yeah, and I say so using that example, I say that we're coming out with X in a year from now, but then people are sitting there saying, well, why can't we get it now? Why can't we get it now? Why can't we get it now? And then this would really help, and blah blah blah, and then we think through it. It's just like, well, you know what? Let's talk to our development team. Let's see if we can build out the plan. Let's see what is the value proposition of including X feature or X capability that would benefit our members.
Yeah.
That's the way that I would rather do it, as opposed to just putting some date of some capability, 6 months to a year down the road.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it makes sense to look at the cost benefit of a certain feature, and it's kind of the same thing with my background as software engineer. It's always like, okay, how long would it take us to get this project up? We're going to anticipate for 2 times of that. You know what I mean? Because as you said, you never know what happens. So I really like the fact that you said, no dates attached, and small improvements, continuous improvement. That makes sense. But and the next question that kind of I think is kind of interesting. Why do you think Seletti, and you might have indirectly answered this, why do you think Seletti is better off on a blockchain rather than normal traditional finance? And what do you think of crypto in general as well?
So the so the blockchain issue goes back to how we're using crypto as a service, and how people investing via crypto into a system, and we don't have our, and this goes back to the whole Web 3.0, and part of what I talked about, how where the world is moving from that standpoint. So by having the proxy contract that interacts with a contract that is not on the blockchain, that you cannot see it, and other mechanisms that we've implemented, really puts it's a safety and security for all type thing. We're entrusting the safety, and the custodian is tracked, and there are mechanisms in place to verify, well, I could use in your terms, back, the ACACs and that type stuff, where the contract is making sure that the right amounts are going to the right recipient based off of, what's in the system, right? And so
Mhm.
having it as a closed system is so, and I don't want to say air gapped, but more of that separation within the architecture of not being out on the public is so much better than to interface directly onto a smart contract. Smart contracts are immutable, as you know.
Yeah.
So there goes the dynamic roadmap. There goes we want to add this capability and that capability. Well, guess what? We didn't think about it when we developed the smart contract, so you have to live with what we got, right? So I think that's probably the long answer to your question.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think it does make sense. The good thing about crypto is the fact that you don't need to have that trust variable, right? Because as you said, you can make it immutable. It's trustless. So that is the good thing about it, to be honest. But a question that I've received actually from making these videos. Okay, what do you say to the people who compare Seletti to Kuopi, if you know about it? And the second question is, what do you also say to those people who are new in crypto and are very cautious in entering Seletti?
So I don't want to talk specifically about another project.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I can name several projects. I was in DeFi for a while. I lost a lot of money. I made
Mm-hmm.
some money, lost a lot of money in DeFi ROI dApps, right?
Yeah.
And I would say, what are the common causes as to why? Some of them I think we have already mentioned. There's a lot of greed by people. There's a lot of people who can just put something out there and then take a bunch of people's money and then disappear. There's what is the true intention? I can't get into all those things about the other projects. I just know that if you look in a year in review, how many are still around, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then how many come back for cash grabs and then disappear within a couple months. And I'm not talking about any particular ones, but there are track records of those as well. So as I look at that and look at the damage, the financial, mental, physical damage that has done to a lot of people. That was one of the things I talked to you about the owners, and part of my contract is, I'm not going to be part of something like that, and there's a level of integrity that I hold, and I think I'm hoping that Seletti will be one of the good ones, one of the great ones,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of doing that and holding the community to a higher standard of look at me. I'm out there. I'm talking. I'm not like others that are just doing things to make a quick buck and disappear. I purposely designed it whereas I am performance based. If I suck, if things don't go well, then I'm gone, right? I have a
Mm-hmm.
contract with the owners, right? I'm
Yeah.
pushing to make that this is the best, and I'm pushing this to make this I've reviewed from legal standpoint I've consulted with lawyers, I've consulted with different companies on how learning best practices and seeing other things. That's what I'm trying to infuse into our project. So as you talk about some of these other ones, do they pass your own personal litmus test on where you would want to put, as I like to say, risk capital? Nobody should be investing their mortgage money or their money for rent or
Oh
money for
God.
groceries into crypto, okay, into anything. It's I'm not a financial advisor. Obviously, this is all, we have the disclaimers and everything on the site, and we even have a terms of use if you look at the bottom that goes through, what we are trying to do from a legal standpoint and what we're providing for our people. But the main aspect would be that this is what I think is a clear differentiator of us in the space, is that we're doing our best efforts to make sure that we provide a product that will have sustainable, consistent, passive returns for our communities, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense, to be honest with you. Which kind of brings me to one of the questions I actually posted in the chat. It talks about, or the question is said, is Seletti going to be around long term and not like all the other DeFi projects? I know you indirectly already answered this, um, But I know that you being contracted as a CEO with Seletti, you want to make the best, you know, for the time that you're here. And yeah,
Sure.
honestly, I think
Yeah.
that's
And so that question, so 2 years is what I've promised the team,
yeah.
right? And so I could have done 1 year, and actually in this space, unfortunately, 1 year is like a lifetime.
Hmm.
Okay. Right. But
Especially in
me,
crypto.
yeah, well, and that's the thing that I really want us to change, right?
Mm.
Is I really want us to change that mentality. Like, this is, akin to other types of investments, that you can feel comfortable, and that the trust is there and the returns are there. And that's why we're not offering 60% returns per month. It's not a money grab. This is more of a slow and steady wins the rate. We have race. We do have decent returns that we are providing, and then you're seeing the results every day. You
Yeah.
guys see the results a lot of times before I do. You know what I mean? Like, it is out there, or whoever is able to see, the proof of returns, and what's transpired in that given day is out there and it's published. And we did that by design. Like, that's something that's within, once it's pulled down, collated, and presented, that's the information coming in near real time. It's as close as you're going to get from this, the way that things are set up. And so that's what I feel really comfortable about and happy about with this project.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for the answer. One of the other questions that I posted in the chat, and I believe as well, you did kind of answer this quickly, and it says, do Seletti have crypto bots? And they said, I believe they have forex and stocks. And you did mention the fact that PAM is mainly in normal stocks, and that you are thinking about doing crypto pairs and stuff. And I believe I did see the BTC to USD pair, but can you elaborate more on you know will it have more crypto running bots?
So the whole having crypto bots running is a research and investment aspect
Hmm.
that it won't. We're looking at beyond 3 months, 3 to 6 months, maybe longer, from that standpoint. Because as you as an engineer, me as a systems engineer, what am I going to want to see? What questions am I going to ask as CEO as to whether or not we would bring this on to the community, right? And
Hmm.
so I'm going to want to see track record of performance. I want to see live proof of results. I'm going to want to see that if we bring this on, we're going to put our own money into it first, right? And
Yeah.
we're going to play around with it. We're going to see, and that would be an interchange. That's a period of time, that goes into all that, between the regression testing, between making sure it, you know, performs as advertised, what the returns would be, that would be in relation to the forex capability, and our other capabilities. So we have to take all that into account as part of the longer strategy. So is it on my mind? Absolutely. Is it going to happen within the next 3 months? No.
Hmm.
And when it does come out, there will be a methodology and an overall explanation as to how and why, right? So that we have that transparency. It's like, we're introducing this, and that here's how it's doing, and what would you like to see? What types of returns do you see? Are you happier with a return that's within much safer bounds as part of your overall risk portfolio in crypto,
Yeah.
or are you in that bleeding cutting edge? Because bleeding cutting edge is not us, okay? In that regard, in terms of the high risk, high return type aspect, we're not going to do that, or let me say it better. If we did that, it would be after I've seen, like, holy snikes, this works very well. And this is something we should provide to our community because it's sustained those type of returns over 6 months, over a year, and it's, that type thing. So I
Exactly.
think
Yeah,
that,
you're looking.
I think that answers the question. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're looking for a track record, and basically you're saying the research is being done, but no promises to the timeline, and it's kind of being treated as R&D because it is taken away from, you guys are spending money for that research. 100% get that. To be honest with you, very excited. A question that came to mind because you did hint on this. I'm not sure if you just said it as an example. Are you guys actually planning to launch a coin?
No, not at this
Okay.
time.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, there are there's a negative stigma to having a coin in an ecosystem, and if you look at some examples of ecosystems that have, and even projects that have tokens, the real question would be why. Why would you
Mm,
introduce a token? If a token is providing a utility that is providing a value within our system that cannot be done, or we do not want it done from an outside capability, then there's a value to having a token. I don't see that for a while, and because of that negative stigma that goes along with, a project launches a token and then it disappears within a month or two because there's no value associated with it. If there is a mechanism that it's being used for something, you know, if I'm introducing the next cake token or the next Orca token on Solana, or you see where I'm going, if that's what we're going to build out to from our sets of capabilities, that would make sense. Because now, okay, this isn't just a coin being created that has no value, has no utility, and has no true uh, mechanism to really grow over time as something to invest in, But this is all a hypothetical discussion because I am not entertaining that for quite some time, if that makes sense.
yeah, absolutely. I guess, kind of the final question I think I'm going to ask to wrap this up. I think we've gathered a lot of informative information about Seletti and how your vision is and how you like to, your methodology behind it as well. Being a Scrum Master, which is very valuable, keeping things lean, and stuff like that. Can you tell me about, the AI technology side of things? Are you guys, is it involved with every other investment other than PAM?
No, not at this time.
Okay.
That is actually one of the roadmap items that we're going to do a review and have a discussion on that, because I'll just say that I think that over time, as we prove the capability that we have with the PAM, and what AI brings us in terms of capabilities, I think that will be our primary focus of infusion of AI into how we're doing things, as long as it's done smartly and it's following a methodical approach.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. I think that covers all my questions, Lenny. I think, I think that basically wraps it up. I really appreciate your time. Do you have anything else you want to say to the people listening to this recording? Just generally about crypto, about New Year's resolution, whatever, really. Any messages?
Well, thank you for saying. Yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed the holidays. I think we are at the cusp of an amazing time in our
Hmm.
lives to the digital currency transformation on where we're going with crypto. I do not have the crystal ball, but according to what analysts are saying, and where we are in the phase of bull and out of the bear market into the bull, I think the debate is over. And so, could be wrong, and I'm not making any predictions, but this is an excellent time to be investing. If you have disposable income, if you're looking to learn how to do things in the crypto sphere, I think this is a great time to really do self-study to learn, so that you
Hmm.
can take your own hands, and hopefully Seletti will be part of that calculus as you're deciding across your portfolio of things to invest in. I think
Absolutely.
this is one way to get started, one way to continue and add to what you're doing, or if you have a conservative mindset, this may be the riskiest thing in your portfolio. And so it really depends on where you are in life and what you're doing. And so what I'm very happy is to provide this opportunity for people, and I have a great team that is working with me to keep things moving. And so I appreciate the time from you and your community members, and just wish everybody the best of success and health in 2024. We will be back.
Absolutely.
We will be back, and I'd like to do this again with you, especially a little further down the road and periodically,
Mhm.
so people can see where we're going and what we've been doing, as we continue to evolve.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's a pleasure. I would love to have you here again. And yeah, as you said, like this is going to be a very interesting year, right? Going into the bull market. Um, yeah. And yeah, Seletti is literally one of my special investments, right? I'm not saying if it's risky or unrisky. I'm just saying it's special as a special place in my portfolio. So I've been really happy, being on this ride, and I'm really looking forward to as you guys develop the website and everything else, as it wraps up. So yeah, thank you again for everyone here, for everyone listening at the recording. You can always join their Telegram, and you can follow them. You should follow them on their Twitter at Seletti A.i. Simple as that. And yeah, I'm going to stop recording and we're going to end that there. Thank you very much.